Everybody else ready? All right. Dave, you good? All right, I would like to welcome everyone to the Monday, January 9th meeting of the Pine Bluffs Town Council. Will everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
What's that? First item on the agenda is the agenda approval.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Moving on to the consent agenda. I would just say we have one in there that's a building permit that if we don't mind discussing for a minute.
Yeah.
So, maybe I could ask for some input from Officer Kemp, Chief Kemp, about, this is the fence on 411 Blair.
Yeah.
So can you tell us, so this fence is partially constructed at this point?
Yes, it is. It's put up there and it's set up against stuff, so it's unsafe. I didn't cite him for that, because I could, under our ordinances, because he's got it pushed up there with, tires and stuff like that, holding it up there. So it's unsafe if somebody was to climb it or whatever, a kid or whatever, they could get hurt pretty bad. So that's the whole thing. That fence is completely unsafe. And I told him, I explained to him that you're not supposed to have it up there because you don't even have a permit for it. So that's the whole thing. And then he will come and got a permit. I said, if you want to put up a fence, get a permit and do it right. Otherwise, we could cite you for having a unsafe fence, and that's one of the ordinances.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Robbie? So my question is, what's our mechanism for assuring that if we approve a fence, even though it's already in construction or partially constructed, what's our mechanism to assure that it's properly constructed and
Completed
meets some
safely.
kind of specification?
Sure, we can have Public Works go over and take a look at it.
I guess I feel fine giving him the opportunity to do it right, but I think we
Yeah.
need to follow up and make sure if we're going to approve a fence being constructed, that it's constructed in such a way that people aren't gonna get hurt walking down the alley from it falling over in
Sure,
some way. Is
absolutely.
there any
I agree.
objection?
I
Okay,
think that's fair.
that answers my question.
Okay.
So, clarify, you want Public Works to inspect the fence once it's completed? Once the
Please.
homeowner contacts
Yes.
us?
Yes, we would like a report about the quality of the fence and to what standard it's being
Do you have
built.
a timeline, or what is your expectation?
Well, frankly, our building permits say he has a year to construct it, so,
That's what I'm asking.
he has a year to construct it. Once it's constructed, then we just need to follow up and make sure it's within reasonable standards. i.e. posts driven into the ground in some fashion to make sure it's safe.
If it's done already and it's not correctly done, do we make them tear it out or do we go up there now and cite them and say, you get it done?
It's not really installed right now. He's just got fence panels leaning up and propped like at the garage and being held up with tires. So
Oh.
they're just doing that to try and contain some of the stuff that was overflowing into the alley. And so the plan was to now install it permanently with posts and everything. So it's not really installed right now, it's just leaning there.
Okay.
So I feel like we should probably give him an opportunity to do it right, but whatever you guys think.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's fine to approve that and have Public Works follow up. I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? On to new business.
Mayor, just point of order here on, and I might have the wrong one or something, but on my agenda, we have not yet dealt with the 411 Blair fence because it's not on the consent agenda.
Ooh, it's item number 4 on the consent agenda on mine.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, gotcha.
We probably
Scratch
should have
all
pulled
that.
it
Oh,
out.
yeah, you
Given
probably
that,
should have.
given that I didn't consent, but I didn't want to go through all that rigmarole.
Gotcha, okay.
On to new business. Item number 1 is the review and approval water truck purchase from Eastern Laramie County landfill for $95,000. We don't have a lot to discuss on it, other than,
We just need approval to make the purchase. We have been talking to Mike Ragsdale, and he's been talking with their board. They need a larger truck, so they are going to be selling their 2,000-gallon truck, and we would like the opportunity to purchase it since we are going to be releasing an RFP for a new water truck anyway. This one is in like-new condition with less than 700 miles on it.
obviously, Bubba has reviewed the truck. Kim and I both had the opportunity to look at it. It looks like it's driven off the showroom floor.
Yep.
Pretty much, so.
Sure. All right. Well, I move to approve the purchase of the water truck from Eastern Laramie County Land.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the purchase of a water truck from Eastern Laramie County landfill. Any other discussion?
I'm gonna abstain from voting on this since I'm on the board.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none. It's approved. Item number 2 is the review and discuss proposed sewer rate adjustments. Kim,
Sure. So, our sewer rates, as we've mentioned before, we have utilities that have not been reviewed in several years. The last time our sewer rates were reviewed and altered was in 2014. And since then, there have been significant cost increases in not only materials to do the work, but to things like insurance and fuel costs and vehicle maintenance. So the cost to maintain our infrastructure and to operate the system has increased dramatically. For that, we are proposing a modest increase to our sewer rates. As you're all aware, our sewer rates are based on water usage during the months of January, February, and March. Most people are not using that much water during those months, but as of right now, we don't have a base rate. Typically, sewer systems have a rate that they pay, and that base rate is generally what we use to budget for infrastructure modifications and repairs and upgrades. And so we are proposing a base rate, and it's a modest base rate of 2,000 gallons. And we came up with that cutoff because we didn't want to affect those folks that are maybe like just a single or a couple, especially our seniors that are on a fixed income. And so this really takes that into consideration. So the base rate would be for 2,000 gallons, and that would increase from $12 to $15. Again, right now, there is no amount that is covered under our base rate. So the 12 to $15, and then as opposed to 65 cents per 1,000 gallons for anything above 2,000 gallons, we are bringing that to $1.65 per 1,000 gallons. We are recommending a commercial base rate of $20 with the same 2,000 gallon and $1.65 for anything over. And then we are proposing an industrial base rate. In the past, we have not had an industrial rate at all, but we have several entities in town that in the winter months use more than 20,000 gallons of water per month. And so because of that, we thought it would be practical to pull in that industrial rate. Mind you, those industrial users during the summer months can use well over 100,000 gallons of water a month, so this is still a considerable savings for them. Throughout the state of Wyoming, we are typically in the low 10% of sewer rate charges. As you can see, there's a bit of a graph there that has compared some smaller municipalities that are similar in size to us, but also municipalities that are around us. We've actually included Kimball, Nebraska, and our Cheyenne, because, you know, a lot of our rates are driven, or a lot of our costs, I should say, are driven by rates that we get out of Cheyenne. You also have a chart that lists the breakdown of how they charge. So this is basically an initial discussion. If you have any questions, you can ask them at this time. And then my only question would be to Alex is, you know, the last time we did this in an ordinance, would I just, as in the past, work this out as a resolution?
I need to check that. Is this one of those ordinances that says we can approve it by resolution?
I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to look that
You
up.
know, if it's not, we ought to change that ordinance.
Okay,
But, yeah,
got it. Okay.
So you're saying, if it is, there would only be one reading?
Yes.
There's no 3 reading requirement of,
most of those consumables on the utilities have embedded in the ordinance the right to change the rates by resolution. So you don't have to go through a complete amendment of the ordinance.
sure.
And I think we've been trying to put that in, and whenever we
Sure.
find that it's not there, and I can't tell you if this is one.
Yes.
Well, first of all, I think for some people on this list, I understand it hasn't been since 2014, but it is a bit of rate shock. I mean,
Right. So your average residents will see an increase of $3 a month.
right, which is 25%, which is
Absolutely.
$3 a month.
Yep.
I understand that.
Yep.
On the far end of that spectrum, it gets pretty wild though at 300+%. Which understandably, that could just be a factor of the fact that we've never had a rate class, you know,
Correct.
in the industrial category, but, you know, I think those folks are gonna go from whatever, 44.50 to 125.
It's possible they could go up to as high as $200 a month.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Sure. But, what we have to look at is, that increase would be proportional to their impact on our sewer system,
Right.
so. We would be looking at requesting this rate change to go into effect when we do our averaging for this January, February, and March. So that would go into effect, it would go into effect in April. They wouldn't see it, customers wouldn't see it until May.
So Chris isn't here to give this. So I wish he was here, because I don't want to take a little jab at him while he's not here.
Sure.
Chris, just in general, his rate structures tend to not favor businesses. And
Correct.
And I want to make sure we're not like stifling business by taking an unfair overall dollar cost adjustment of what our rates generate
Yep,
towards
absolutely.
businesses. Do I think this is totally unfair? No, but I want to make sure that every time we do a rate adjustment, we're not seeing, and I only say this based on one thing on this. Like, I don't have a problem. If you use 50,000 gallons, you should be paying a lot more for sewer just based on the amount of effluent you're sending into our system.
Yes,
The one thing is, though, we have a differentiated per unit rate. So instead of 165, it's 2 or 250, right?
oh, I see what you're saying, yes.
Just a, I don't know what that means. Like,
Sure.
I don't think the way it's structured right now, we're gonna keep people from doing business in Pine Bluffs, but
Right.
we should be mindful of not maybe getting too aggressive.
Yep, absolutely. And so again, I would just like to stress, though, that, the handful of industrials that we have, really wreck us during the rest of the year as far as what flows into our sewer system. And it isn't always due to sprinkler system use. A prime example would be the rest area. So the rest area has a huge impact on our sewer system. And in the summer months, they average 1,000 people a day that go through the rest area. And then that's in addition to their sprinkling, but, the sprinkling isn't counted. At this time of year, that January, February, March timeframe, the travelers that go through there is much less. So when you figure for 6 months of the year, we have at least 1,000 people a day going through there using facilities. That is a direct impact on our sewer system. And I think there are only about 8 accounts that would fall into this. And we can absolutely, talk about a change to the per gallon rate to keep it more in line.
Yeah, it's, it's hard because they're also getting more, their baseline starts at a higher number.
Yes, it
So
does.
instead of 2, it's 10. So do you
Correct.
feel like the rest area as an example, do they actually fall? Which of these 3 categories would they fall?
They would fall under industrial.
They use that much in the winter as well.
Yes, they do, yep. Yeah, and so that's the other thing to keep in mind, though, is that their base rate of $25 includes 10,000
Yeah,
out of that 20,000,
Yeah.
average. And so while I don't remember all of the businesses off the top of my head, it's the rest area, the school district, I believe the Pine Bluffs Distilling, and, I don't know, there's a couple more in there, but it's 8 or less. So,
I'm shocked at how many commercial meters there are. I don't know who all's falling into that category, but
The 79 meters?
Yeah.
So
That's-
commercial, I mean, that includes everything from, the Wynema Engstrom's accounting business, to the banks, to the restaurants, the bowling alley, grocery store, all of those.
Well, I think at the end of the day, we have to, we've had some sewer problems. We have to try to make sure we're capturing enough money to fix problems and
Yep.
operate, so.
Absolutely. And to maybe put your mind at ease for the overall utility cost for our customers in Pine Bluffs, we talked about how we would be reviewing our rates every 4 years per utility to include trash and recycle. And so next year would be the year we would be reviewing trash and recycle, and I don't anticipate that we would have any change to that at this time. So I don't know what the new rate study will bring us that WAMPA is working on, but
Sure. Sewer's a good one, and we just went through water
Yeah.
to discuss, like, it's not part of our thing, but we've been going through that, and we're not recovering. As a side note to this, another thing we should prepare people for who might be building or something is that we need to really adjust our permit rates.
yes, our tap fees are in need of adjustment.
And they're much further off than this is off, in
Yeah.
terms of,
Yes, they absolutely are, especially as of late.
yeah.
So anyway, it's definitely something that can still be open for discussion. We have some time with this. So if you guys want to, review this more, and if you need more statistics from me, like how many residential or commercial customers do we have that would use over that 2,000 gallon base, I can certainly provide all that information to you.
That would be great.
So they're $1.65 every thousand over.
For every 1,000 over 2,000 gallons, correct. And I would say
would think
that,
that's-
one of the other things that we considered, and we can definitely talk about this too, is maybe having that up to 3,000 gallons, then you would capture a little bit more of our customer base in that initial rate of $15. So we can definitely look at that as well.
Thing doesn't move around. The only thing I would say to that, in my opinion, looking at it is, well, it's gonna generate some added revenue. When you look at the average cost for 5,000 gallons, we're not, even where we end up using this model, in terms of residential, we're still well within, we're less than or right at everyone around us.
Yes.
So my personal opinion is the residential's pretty, I think it's spot on. Giving away another 1,000 gallons is not,
Sure. It just might capture another segment of our community.
Like someone who's on the bubble.
Sure. 'Cause when you figure 5,000 gallons, that's more like, maybe a family of 4 would use 5,000 gallons in January, February, or March, not a family of 2 or 3, they might break that too. That's why I said if you want me to give you we just took a sampling of residents. We didn't use an average of every single residential customer, but we can definitely do that with no problem.
I wouldn't mind seeing how many it captures with this rate, but I guess my point still is that even at 3,000, 4,000 gallons, we're still under Kimball, which is a good
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
gauge.
And we're way below Cheyenne.
Sure.
Another thing you should just be aware of is that we are currently also reworking our sewer ordinance. similar to the way we worked our water ordinance and, the makeup of the infrastructure and processes and all that, so. We should have a draft of that for the February meeting.
Great. Any other questions?
I'll write down.
So will we revisit this then in the next meeting on the 18th or whatever that is?
Yes. We'll revisit again, that way I can, for the February meeting, have an ordinance, or it can wait till February. It's whatever, if you guys need more time, we do have time.
Sooner the better.
Okay.
We're still going to do the 18th, right?
That's later.
Oh, that's right. I have to do it at home.
I was trying to decide if.
So never mind, scratch that. We have canceled the 18th of January meeting.
okay.
There were 2 scheduling conflicts, so
Okay.
we won't be able to make that happen. That community master plan will be presented at the February meeting.
Okay. And that's when we'll do this then?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Item number 3, bid award railroad extension, or road extension to railroad relocation. We have 3 bidders
TJ's.
on this, and I think TJ is here to tell us all about the excitement.
Yeah, so 2 bids were received on December 20th. One from, one from Knife River and one from Pine Bluffs gravel and excavation. The Knife River came in at $1,004,791, and Pine Bluffs gravel and excavation came in at $554,050.25. Our engineer's estimate was $1,096,527.50. So it is quite a bit lower. You'll notice the amounts that make up the greatest difference are base course, granular fill, and road borrow. That made up they were about $350,000 cheaper than Simon Knife River, excuse me. But, if you have any questions on that.
Do you feel confident that?
Yes.
They could do the work within that $554,000?
Yeah, the one I checked first was asphalt, and that was along with our estimate, so that's the one you always want to make sure on, but since they're a gravel company, I feel they probably got better rates than another company, so yeah, I feel confident, and their mobilization was less, so, because they're less distance to go.
And so.
Yeah, my
Recommendation.
of award, yeah, with a 15% contingency during construction. That's my recommendation.
So when you do the 15% increase, is that something you do on the negotiation and we just?
I don't think it's a part of negotiations. That's just in case, as we unearth things, if there's any changes, just to have that money tucked away just in case.
And we do have those funds already.
Okay, perfect. So I move to award Pine Bluffs Sand and Gravel the bid for the road extension to railroad crossing relocation.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to award the railroad crossing relocation road extension to Pine Bluff Sand and Gravel. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you.
Something else I would like to, for you all to keep in mind is to start thinking of a name for this road once we continue it through to the railroad crossing, because it's still listed as County Road 213 and it's actually a Pine Bluffs road, so we would love to. There was some concern a couple of years ago that it had a name similar to, like, we have an industrial way and we had an industrial drive, and it was getting very confusing for folks because we have an industrial, one of them over in the industrial park. So, you know, if we want to consider, you know, we'll need to consider a new name for that road. So something to keep in mind moving forward once we get it constructed.
Yeah, that should come really easy. All the ones going east and west are all,
Numbers.
it's like North First Street. I mean, to keep it consistent.
Yeah. Negative.
You don't like that?
No, I don't love it.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
Negative First.
I like the negative.
Negative. Yeah. I get what you did there. Item number 4, bid award municipal building custodial.
We currently have a contract in place that, for this building and custodial services. This contract was, that we currently have, was not very detailed, and it really was just a continuation from an old contract that the person at some point skipped out on, so we had somebody that took it over. And that individual has been doing it for the last, I think 4 years now. And so it's definitely time that it be reviewed again, and that we, and we were very specific in our request for proposal on the duties that needed to be accomplished. And they're a little bit more stringent than they were before.
How, on this,
The
how
current
long does
contract
this-
is $9,000 a year.
Sure, okay. And how long is that contract, this current one, going to
So
be
it's a
for?
1-year contract with 2 one-year option periods, so we could go for 3 years.
Does either party have a right to option out of it?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. It's our same standard contract that we use on pretty much everything, and it does include the Moriano Doctrine and all that, so.
Any discussion on them? The, I guess just to be clear, my concern with this, and I'll say what I've discussed earlier about this, is my concern is that, I just, you know, we have, one of the bidders is from inside one of our departments, and my concern is just, A, with the appearances of that, and B, with the appearances of that. Like in a number of ways, has nothing to do with the qualifications of the candidate. I'm concerned, that we perhaps, you know, spread some of what we do around town with other folks, as well as, just the appearances that we're hiring a contracted position from within. But once again, that's what my concern is about that particular one. But any other questions or thoughts about it?
No, as long as everything was done properly and awarded it correctly and everything, I have no concerns with it. It's how the game's played, so to speak, so.
Anybody else?
The girl that has it now, what was wrong with her, Kim, you said? She wasn't doing the job right?
No, not, well, and I shouldn't say, no, it's not so much that, it's that, we have increased our standard here in this building to, and so this contract, it includes a lot more than the contract that is in place now.
So, did you
And
give,
there would have to be more checks and balances.
yeah, but did you, the person that has it now, did you give her the new contract that said what is expected?
Yeah, she had the same RFP that everybody else had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody want to make a motion?
I move to approve the, contract, the Town of Pine Bluffs Municipal Building Custodial Contract for 2023 to, do I name the winner? Renee Lovett.
Second.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve Renee Lovett for the 2023 municipal building custodial contract. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Aye. Well, any other discussion?
So, 2-2, so nobody gets the job until Bubba gets back. Am I correct?
Where's Bubba?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that's where we are unless you're,
I can extend the existing contract on a month-to-month basis until we have a quorum that can vote appropriately.
okay.
The only thing, I got one question, on Renee, if she did get the job, that it's gotta be done after work, not during work. It's gotta be, you get off at 4 o'clock, so from 4 o'clock on, fine, but not at 3:30 or 3 o'clock. Okay.
Okay. Well, I guess we will revisit that. Visitor comments. Jeff Weller is here, he's on the list.
Yeah, so you all know me
Can you
and
state your name and where you live?
Jeff Weller and from here, Pine Bluffs,
Do you have an address?
507 Walnut.
Awesome.
So I'm here because I would like to start doing a little more business, a little more work out of my shop in my residential area. Y'all know where it's at, and my shop's pretty much in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing even close to it besides a barn. And everything that's on the other side of Butler from my property is industrial property. And it would be really great. I really just want to be able to do more work out of my shop without anybody being upset with me about doing so. And I've actually been offered a job here locally with the company, and they said they'd be willing to work with me if I have some jobs at home that I need to do. So I can take it slow and not get, too, not to try to get too much at one time. I can take it slow, do a few jobs, and hopefully things will come around and we can grow that kind of a business. So basically the thing is since I'm not on the industrial side of the street, I'm not zoned for it.
Can you tell us more about the business you're,
Well, I want to do collision repair, refinishing, and my goal actually is to go to PDR school, which is a paintless dent removal school, and to get into doing PDR work and being able to do that out of my shop also. So I just want to be able to do things for people around the community and not have to commute to Cheyenne every day for work, and be able to make a living doing it here in my community, and maybe even bring some money into the community, so. But I have an ideal shop, and we do actually have a commercial piece of property, a commercial building, but it's just not as practical as if I was to be allowed to just go with the shop that I've already built and set up, then I wouldn't have any huge, upfront costs that I'd have to deal with. If I had to buy a piece of, there's 2 pieces of industrial property right across from my shop. Well, then that's automatically gonna cause lots of expense that would make it almost impossible to do. And even if I was to use our commercial building that's across town, my dad never finished it, and it would take some serious remodeling and finishing there too. And honestly, it's close to the restaurant, it's close to another house, and my shop where it's at is more ideal than anywhere, really. So I guess I just want to make sure, I want everybody's approval and, see if we can work something out to where I would be allowed to do that, so it wouldn't cost me a whole bunch of money to get up and running, get going, doing that.
So, I'm gonna ask Alex to step in here for a minute at some point, but before that, I think the concern everyone around you would have is the number of vehicles. Can you tell us about the storage of vehicles, the in-process vehicles?
Yeah, well,
What that looks like?
Like I was saying, I don't want to get into it so deep that I have a bunch of stuff sitting around, like 1 or 2 jobs at a time, which would be in my shop. I actually do plan on remodeling I have a bullpen area in the back that's fenced. I want to try to get to the point where we could enclose that and even make it, dry storage. So, but I'm not intending on having a bunch of customer vehicles sitting. If we have customer vehicles, it's gonna be 1 or 2 at a time, and they will be in the shop and not out of the shop, maybe briefly in or out, for whatever purpose, but, like I said, I don't wanna get into it. This is gonna be just me doing it. I'm not gonna have a bunch of employees, so it's gonna be what I can handle, 1 at a time, maybe 2 at a time. So I'm not really looking to have a bunch of customer vehicles sitting around, and as far as my own personal vehicles, everything, I can put it away, and some of it's already got license plates on it, so. But, as far as customer vehicles, I'm not planning on having a lot of that sitting around. So in the shop, being worked on, 1 at a time, 2 at a time being done.
So Alex, I know we've done that years and years and years ago, but I don't recall it as of late. Like, is there a process by where we say we gather comment from the folks surrounding where his property is located, I would agree is.
Yeah, the only thing close to me is Clayton's barn and, in our house basically, and everything else is, like I said, everything else on the other side of Butler is industrial already.
Right, but I think they have the right to comment on
Right, I
your
understand.
change of use.
Yeah,
What's the address?
it's 507 Walnut. So the 2 acres that go from Walnut, Sixth is the street that would go up Butler. So the 2 acres all the way to the top of Butler, it's all owned by me, so I won't be selling any of that off, so. It's fairly isolated.
Are you gonna clean up the lot first,
Clean up,
the lot behind your house?
well, that's what I say, that's what I was saying earlier, is I want to get my bullpen, my fenced area reorganized this summer. I don't know if I'll get the dry storage done this summer, but I would like to get it cleaned out and remodeled and get some of the fencing panels fixed and get anything that doesn't have license plates on it put away. So,
Are you talking about the vacant one east of the house?
no, it's not. The vacant one it's the one with the, my shop's actually on the acre with my house.
But his house sits furthest to the west,
And, yeah.
therefore not.
Have you, received any feedback from Mr. Cox?
No, I haven't talked to, the only people I wanted to approach the council first. I've talked to Justin a little bit and Ally a little bit, but I just wanted to approach the council first before, I go any further.
Yeah, well, in principle, what we would normally do is, zone change. But part of that is making sure that, you don't have any headwind from the neighbors. But, I mean, we've done it before. I think that's a better plan than trying to cook up some kind of a, special use
Variance.
permit or something,
Yeah.
because if Jeff does this, he ought to be able to do something with it and retain the value and not have that stripped away in the event something happened to you or something like this.
And the location just makes more sense than doing it at our commercial property across town. It just,
I think when you get into it, it's based on what you have there. We have a more recent example of a zoning change. I can't remember the entire process, but, I would agree with Alex, is my opinion, is to get it right. And part of that process will be a public hearing, which will allow anyone with a concern over doing that to come forward.
so would that be just like an extension of a town council meeting or?
Yeah, it would be part of a town
council
council
meeting.
meeting, and I don't remember, is that it require multiple readings, or is that
So-
a?
The zone change is gonna be an ordinance, yeah.
So, I guess I would recommend maybe, that you work with Jackie on, like, the steps, or, I don't really even know that there's that many steps,
Would
we just need to know that you want to apply for that, and then we need to, and the process will take
We
a
just have,
minimum of 3 meetings.
just like put it in the paper for anybody that would have any objections or anything
I
to it?
think-
We
I could be
do that.
wrong about this, but I think letters go out to anybody within a certain distance or something. I don't think we have to put it,
The prior zoning change, we published the public hearing notice
that would be the only thing.
and we did 3 readings. That's what we did.
But I think, didn't they choose to send out letters or contact the people around them?
No,
Really?
no.
I thought we were supposed to do that. I'll have to check the ordinance to be sure on that.
Well, we'll figure out the process.
Okay,
I
and-
think for you, but
Okay,
like, we just need to, we kind of tried to do the east half of that. We weren't totally, I guess we did some. We did what was requested, but we didn't keep going up that street.
right.
And so,
Well, that's why I'm here, is just, let me know what I need to do. If I need to send the letters, let me know who specifically I would need to send them to. And,
Alex
know.
and I can work together on that.
okay.
Couldn't he just go around to his neighbors and get a petition signed?
I need to be sure of that. I can't remember off the
Because I
top of
thought
my
that's
head.
what they did, you went around to your neighbors, if they agreed, they signed a petition, yeah,
Yeah,
we,
we've done a lot of things.
yeah.
yeah, we did some, that was my bookmark. Just so you know, I would advocate when we're finished with this, that all these big rate increases to commercial, I would advocate that you be switched to a commercial rate at your house.
Well, I think I already am on my electricity. When I put in my power, it's separate from
Okay.
my other utilities.
I was more being a smart aleck, but yeah, thanks for taking all the wind out of my sails.
Well, as far as like the sewer and stuff, that is actually tied to my house, but I don't really use a lot of water anyway, so. But, okay,
So they'll work through the process. I would work through Jackie in terms of like when we need to have, but I'm almost sure we're gonna have to have 3 readings of it. And
just to make
people
sure
will be
everybody-
welcome to come and voice
if they have
support
any.
or concern either way, so.
Okay.
But I don't think it's out of the realm to think.
Okay, it would be the
Possibility.
easiest route, obviously, all the way around. Well, I appreciate all of
Any
you's
other
time.
Questions?
Questions?
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Jeff.
thank you.
How I lost my thing. Any other visitor comments? No? All right, well, I see Chance is in the room with us. Is this a good time for you?
Absolutely.
As everyone here knows, Chance retired from police work. Police stuff on.
Yeah.
Law enforcement, I should say.
It's fun. It's interesting.
So, well, we appreciate,
Might be one.
It might
we
be.
have to get you the new car we bought.
We'd like to present, yeah, we'd like to present you this for your time and everything you've done for the town of Pine Bluff. With the shotgun and a badge. And you'll always have one, even if you
Nice.
don't end up with
Yeah, good. I don't remember sticking on that.
one. I see that.
It's the new thing, I guess. I don't know what we're on. Well, awesome. This is really awesome. I just want to say thank you guys so much.
Turn it around.
Hold
That's
on.
pretty.
Wait a minute, is that the same shotgun that was in the car?
Yeah.
It was, wasn't it?
Picture.
Yeah,
Chance, stand
that's
by.
the same way I had in my patrol car.
You didn't get it.
No, I didn't get it, I should've got that. It's the same one.
Put more time in.
What a shit.
It's the same one. Yeah, 28 down the tube for nothing.
I don't know why you would have that in a patrol car.
I did.
I would wanna get out with it because I'm gonna be flashing myself.
Nah,
Go ahead and shoot me.
no, only at night it came out. That and the AR-15.
Well, on behalf of the town of Pine Bluffs, we really appreciate your years of service in the town, various capacities, and especially as chief. And so, apparently they don't.
Something he said.
Anyway, no, we really appreciate it. You brought a lot of positive things to our community, and we'll be greatly missed, by.
Right?
That's the nature of your business, right? You're missed by some, not by others.
Well, and also I just keep reminding people, my jurisdiction just got bigger, and it still includes the town of Pine Bluffs. And so, just looking forward to still working with everybody and providing, just the much needed service I think the sheriff's department's needed to provide in the years past. So we're here for the town and everybody in it. Just look forward to still providing that service that we've done, just in a bigger capacity, so. Yeah, please, reach out, call, I've still got my number, so it's not changing. And then, whatever you need, just let us know.
Great.
Take care of it, so,
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank you again.
Yeah, absolutely,
Appreciate it.
thank you so much.
I have a box that goes into
Oh, okay.
We'll tell you after the meeting.
Just need a new seat so I don't have to sit by this guy.
And it came from him. We'll tell you after the meeting.
All right, we're through visitor comments, department reports.
Nothing.
Ally?
No, Tony is here, so Tony, do you have anything you'd like to report?
I think just to count, we were under 200 calls for the year. Continuing to work on some trainings. Sorry, I've been absent. New jobs got me working Mondays and Tuesdays and Thursdays, almost 14-hour days. I hopped on board with AMR to do some part-time stuff to get more training, more experience with EMS. Continue to work with emergency management, Albin EMS, and I picked up and got on another fire department. District 6 had reached out and asked if we can put on an EMR class because there's several people that don't have the time for EMT. Which I think would be a huge benefit just to be able to help out getting more responders out there. So we're working on some training, kind of working that with AMR and Albin EMS. Other than that, we just continue to maintain. We got 11 on the roster. Monthly meetings, working with medical directors. Anything we can do to keep bridging out. We've made it more transparent that other places that are wanting to sit in on our meetings or trainings, they can come and glean from what we're doing. Whenever we put on a training, they can partake of that. And that's kind of it.
Thank you.
Any questions? Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom?
I have nothing.
Alex?
Good.
You good? Nobody else? Jackie?
So we finally heard from LEAP. They finally have our portal ready. I can finally see participants. I have a list of, approved people, and I got the consumption reports done today, so bills will hopefully be submitted, for this month. However, LEAP's notice to us was, while we can submit bills, their payment processing is not yet ready. So, I guess what I would like from you all is that, I guess I would like to let you know, I will submit those bills. I do not, if these people have applied, their bills are submitted, I will not be charging them late fees or disconnect fees, because LEAP will not pay those. And so my thought on it is we're just kind of at a standstill until LEAP starts to process those payments. Their benefit amount is there, it's just a matter of getting it, and people are really feeling the pinch. We have people on the daily, literally, calling us, coming in, wondering. So I guess that's what I'm asking, is if that is okay with you all, that is how, we do it for now, because unfortunately, everyone's hands are tied while we wait, so.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah, I agree.
You do what you can.
Okay. We did get an update from DFS regarding their HAF program, which is in regards to homeowners, while their ERAP program has ended, which included for renters. Homeowners assistance is still available. That includes utilities and mortgages. You're still able to apply. If you are a homeowner and you have applied for that, and you are simply waiting, and right now, ERAP and HAF, your waiting period can be anywhere from 45 to 90 days to process a payment. So, I just need you to let me know that you're in the process of that. Give me your case number. I can verify that, and we can just kind of work through the process. That's what we've been doing, because unfortunately, once again, they're just at the mercy of whenever DFS pays. And while they've applied and they're in the system, and obviously we will receive the payment, usually via direct deposit. It's just a waiting game, so.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope, that's all I got.
I see, I guess Chief Kemp is back. Do you mind coming up for a minute for a department report? I just thought, as long as you were here, we would fill the rest of the council in on where we're at, where we're headed. Doesn't have to be, I can do it, or you can do it.
No, you can go ahead. I mean, it don't matter.
Go ahead.
Well, we're in the process of, looking for people to hire. We got one right now that we're gonna hire. He's a younger kid. But, as long as everything, background and all that stuff checks out and stuff like that. But other than that, we're still looking for another position, because we know that, another one is gonna leave when or if he gets hired to another place, so that'll leave another opening, so. And that's what we're at right now, we're just basically like a waiting game and still looking for people that, because we haven't got many applicants that were worthy applicants. I mean, we've got a lot that were from out of states that has no background whatsoever of law enforcement, or they've been in detention in different areas, but till we get some candidates, and I was talking with the sheriff department also, they're almost got to where they're gonna get their full staff, and if they get candidates, they will send them our way too, so. And that's one thing good about, the undersheriff, Wakama, is that they're willing to work with us and help us with, even if we need part-time people. I was told, it's not set in stone yet, but I was told that we could possibly use their guys when their guys is not on their shift. So we could use them retain them but we would pay them also out of our budget.
We have, and I think just to fill you guys in, we do have, and Kim could speak more to this, we've added a few places where we have, where we're looking for applicants.
Yes.
So, so we still might,
Exactly.
you never know, but we hope it magically appears,
Yeah, like Lucky Charms.
so.
But, any other questions for me?
No, I don't have any. Thanks for the update.
You're welcome.
Kim?
So our skater replacement project is on track. The majority of the components are in. They will be adding the components necessary to bring well 2 back online, and that will be covered under the cost of our original budget for the SCADA project. And we will also be adding in well number 10, which is our new deep well. We are planning to do a beta test of all of the components within the next couple of weeks. Our Jet A fuel system project, the RFPs are being released this week. Those ads will be out for 3 weeks, and then we'll do our bid opening. And we did we got a cost breakdown. If you remember at our last meeting, we talked about the need to evaluate well number 2, which is located over there on Highway 30, as well as well number 3, which is located on our north property. Both have been not in service for a considerable amount of time, and we really need to make a decision. So we did some testing, and both of them are producing at great rates, much better than we anticipated. And so we talked about getting some estimates to bring them back online, because well 2 would be for municipal use. It would be supplying our potable water to our community. And it needs some, it needs a new motor and some other repairs. We anticipate, well, the bid for the repairs is $17,422. And then we probably need to add on, the cost of some water testing and some other oversight. So we're probably looking at closer to $20,000 to bring well number 2 online. Well number 3 has really, really high nitrate rates. So we had talked about using that well for irrigation purposes out at the north property. We're not in any hurry to use that for irrigation. The cost, if we were to bring it online now, would be approximately $4,000. because they're already mobilizing. In a couple of years, if we were looking to bring it online, it may be the same, it may be more. I'm not sure. We need to really, what we need to do there is add 12 inches to 18 inches of steel casing and pour a concrete pad over the existing concrete that's there. So really what we're doing is a casing extension.
But it's currently interconnected to the system, right? It's not open, just discharge sitting there.
No, and it's not tied in with anything, no.
It's not tied in.
No. That was one of those wells that was on that property when we purchased it, and we have just not done anything more with that well. So, I mean, we don't need to bring it online, but it would make a great addition if we are considering, you know, maybe bringing in a large recreation area in that, that southeast corner of that property. And because it's so high in nitrates, we'll have some really green grass. So,
Don't need to fertilize.
there you go.
Well, so is the idea that it's not operating at the way they'd like to see it right now?
Well, number 3,
Yeah,
we just never needed it.
right,
and
but I'm
so-
saying, like, to just pump it. It pumped fine during the test pump, they just think that it
Correct.
needs more column
It
added.
does, yes.
Okay,
And then we would have to, you know, because we would use it just for irrigation purposes, we wouldn't have to tie it in with, you know, our SCADA controls and all that. It would just,
so from a municipal well standpoint, if we're not really using it as a municipal well, is there a requirement to pump to keep an active?
I was just sitting here thinking about that. I don't believe so.
Yeah,
As
that
long
would
as
be
it's for a
good.
municipal purpose. Doesn't have to be for all municipal purposes,
Sure.
I think.
well, Chris and I had a discussion, and he didn't seem concerned
Yeah.
about that at all, so I assume we don't need to have it active, but we do need to do something with its status.
Sure.
But another thing to consider is that, you know, if we do bring it online now for just irrigation purposes, we could definitely have it as an available location for water trucks to fill up for the different construction projects as opposed to,
As
Into a
opposed to
hydrant.
using our
instead of using
municipal water
treated,
supply.
absolutely, instead of using treated water, we could use
That's
that.
kind of what I was thinking was, at first I was thinking, well, I understand it's just $4,000, but if we're not gonna put it to beneficial use for 10 years, why,
Sure,
you know, by the time we actually need it, we're gonna have to spend money again, but
right,
if we can fill our new water truck with it and
sure,
the construction equipment,
yep, absolutely,
be
because I'm sure
really-
they'll be needing a lot when they redo Highway 30 and things like that, so.
sure.
And you said, magic word there. How long is, it's been more than 5 years that's been down.
Well 3?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
and I don't, you know, I honestly do not know if that beneficial use requirement runs against the municipality. But if you aren't, you know, you can be considered abandoned if you don't use it for 5
Sure.
years. So it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to get that son of a gun going
right, yeah,
before that.
I'd have to look at how our new truck's set up. Maybe we even spend a few nickels getting the overhead
got it, yep,
filler put on the end of that pump, so you're not hooking up
Sure.
hoses all the time. You just drive under it, fill it up. Especially if
Okay.
we're trying to, if we could, I wonder about metering it or something if we're,
Well, if we're gonna
instead of
put- yeah.
selling people our water off of our municipal supply, if we can say, well, sure, we have some available, but you're gonna have to take a little trip out
sure.
to get it. I don't know,
Well,
but I don't know what a meter for something like that is, or,
right. I don't think it's very costly. I think we looked into those before for,
Well, you probably haven't even been metering it when we let them fill down by the rodeo grounds, right?
we just go by their truck size.
They just do a
Yeah.
calculation. Yeah, that'd be great. That seems worthwhile to me. Just for no other reason than to make some beneficial use of it.
Yeah.
Just to make sure we're not running afoul of anything.
Sure. But we definitely want to tie well 2 back into our water system. I mean, well, it's already tied in, but we want to bring it back online. And that has been down for a few years now, so would like to get moving on that. And I would like to go ahead and use our project account where we have some funds available for water projects to get that taken care of.
That one's pretty good on nitrates, isn't it?
Yes, that one's good on nitrates. But 3 is,
That give us a little extra edge on the deep wells, as far as balancing.
yes,
nitrates.
absolutely, yep.
That sounds good.
All right, anything else?
And just, you may see some drones flying around. We have, they're doing our LiDAR scanning of the property where we are missing some of the topography so that they can put that to good use during our stormwater study. And that's all I have at this time.
Great. Announcements and meetings?
So because of some conflicts, scheduling conflicts, we will not be having a meeting on January 18th. We'll just go ahead and move the adoption of the community master plan to February 13th, which would be our regular monthly meeting.
By the
There's
way, I'm
WHAM.
gonna be gone
Oh, sorry.
that day, but
What's that?
like, I don't wanna reinvent the wheel here, so I'm unavailable the 13th, but I knew that, I just hadn't, now that you're putting something else on that night.
Okay.
Not because of that, I was just already going to be gone.
You all are killing me with this, you know this, right?
I know.
If I send one more email to Miriam, I'm pretty sure she might not answer me back. Sorry, lost my train of thought. WHAM is coming up in Cheyenne, January 26th, 7th, and 8th.
5th, 6th.
25th.
Oh,
26th,
25th,
and
20,
27th.
okay, 25th, sorry. They're doing it at LCCC. Tom, you're registered. Ally, you're registered. You
Yes.
and me. So we'll be in and out and back and forth. Yeah, that's all I
Great.
have.
Anything else?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, we adjourn, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.